Adolescents come hard in the wars of pro football. The season's opening weeks were spent discovering who would fill key positions, and the inexperienced Bills fell to the Broncos and Rams.
The Bills, however, managed to turn a first-half pass interception and a fumble into 10 points. Quarterback Dan Dara, number 10, ran 28 yards to the Denver goal line, setting up OJ Simpson's 2-yard leap for a touchdown.
The third week brought the New York Jets, and the game answered important questions. Who would be Buffalo's quarterback? Rookie Dennis Shaw got his first start and went wild. Building a potent passing attack is a basic step for a pro team, and the Bills seem to have found their trigger man. Number 86, Marlon Briscoe, caught 2 touchdown passes, and the Shaw to Briscoe combination may be the long-range weapon that could make victory a habit. Another big question: could OJ Simpson recapture the style that made him college football's most celebrated runner? OJ exploded in his greatest performance in a Buffalo uniform, and the crowning moment came on a 95-yard romp with a kickoff. Building a winner takes time. Victory begins with the parts, the players, and the 34-31 conquest of New York proved that Buffalo has the horses.
A season's worth of excitement occurred within 2.5 hours at Buffalo's War Memorial Stadium, when the New York Jets met the Buffalo Bills. Rookie quarterback Dennis Shaw, number 16, led the Bills to a startling upset victory over the Jets, but not before he learned what pro football is all about. He first learned why tackle John Elliott, number 80, is considered the quickest defensive lineman in football. He saw why number 83, George Sauer, is almost impossible to cover by a single defensive back. But most of all, he learned how to play catch-up football. On the Bills' first series, Steve Tannen blocked and recovered Paul McGuire's punt for a touchdown. On the following kickoff, OJ Simpson stumbled and sputtered and then blazed 94 yards through the Jets to tie the game at 7-7. By the time Buffalo was through congratulating OJ, the Jets scored again as Joe Namath drilled Richard Castor, and the big rookie from Jackson State raced 72 yards to a 14-7 lead. Within the space of 4 minutes from the opening kickoff, 3 touchdowns were scored. Another Namath touchdown pass. This time to George Sauer, built the Jets' advantage to a 24-10 halftime edge. Shaw cut into the Jets' bulge with a pretty pass at the flag to Marlon Briscoe. New York 24, Buffalo 20. But the Jets refused to wilt. Broadway Joe gunned a rainbow to Castor, who raced to the Bills' 11-yard line. Two plays later, Emerson Boozer sliced and battered his way into the end zone, and a 31-20 Jet lead. Buffalo crept back with a short smash by Simpson that cut the margin to 4, 31-27. A perfect onside kick by Grant Guthrie was recovered by number 21 Jackie Allen. Led by their rookie quarterback Dennis Shaw, the Bills went ahead to stay as Marlon Briscoe beat Steve Tannen to the corner and to the ball. The sudden rush of victory sliced through the gloom of losses in their first two games as the Buffalo Bills and downtown Dennis beat Broadway Joe and the boys from the big city, 34-31.
Still faltered, and shortly after Al Cowling's number 82 proved it, Terry was playing his least favorite role, that of a spectator. The Bills, who had knocked off the Jets the previous week, don't have OJ Simpson for nothing, and he kept the Steelers off balance with slashing runs. Rookie quarterback Dennis Shaw, number 16, threw several long completions to Haven Moses, number 25. But they weren't able to score any touchdowns until the third quarter, when Simpson cashed in on a 4-yard run to tie the score at 10-all. The game was marked by several outstanding defensive plays by both teams. The Bills effectively choked off the Steelers until the fourth quarter, when a rash of interceptions betrayed them.
It seemed that Miami was on its way to an easy win, but Butch Bird intercepted a pass by Greasy and instilled a new confidence in the Bills. Dennis Shaw, Buffalo's rookie quarterback from San Diego State, passed to his 250-pound running back Wayne Patrick, who ran to the Miami 24. Shaw fired to Marlon Briscoe for a touchdown, and Miami only led by 6 points at the half. Shaw answered Zonka's bludgeoning tactics with a crisp, precise passing game that ripped through the Dolphin defense for steady gains. Shaw completed 24 of 32 for 338 yards and 2 touchdowns. Marlon Briscoe, number 86, was on the receiving end of both scores. Shaw.
3 weeks later, New York was again the victim of Buffalo's furor. The Jets were grounded, while the Bills' offense flew through the air with the greatest of ease. The victory gave Buffalo a clean sweep of the series with New York, as the Bills proved they could knock heads with anyone. The Bills' next test would come from the Patriots, and the Buffalo-Boston series has always been a brutal confrontation.
At Shea Stadium, the Bills faced the Jets minus Joe Namath, who was missing for the first time in 78 regular season games. His substitute, Al Woodall, must have been feeling the pressure, as he had trouble handling the snap from center early in the game. When the snap wasn't mishandled, Woodall was manhandled, this time by number 82, Al Cowlings. Even his receivers seemed to be fighting him, as when he did complete a pass, Pete Lammons fumbled it when hit by Paul Guidry, number 59. The Bills scored following the break when Dennis Shaw hit Haven Moses. But the touchdown was nullified by offensive interference, and Buffalo settled for a Grant Guthrie field goal and a 3-0 halftime lead. In the second half, Woodall began hitting his receivers and moved the Jets to 2 field goals and a 6-3 lead, as the Jets appeared ready to avenge an earlier defeat at the hands of the Buffalo Bills. Then came the big play of the game, as Shaw teamed with Haven Moses again, this time for a 40-yard pickup. It set up Wayne Patrick's 3-yard score as the Bills beat the Jets for the second time this season. Final score 10-6 Buffalo.
Let's go, kick off team, get it up! Cover, let's go!
It's really tough out there, man. There's no room to run.
Okay, let's go now. Red 56 on 1.
No room to run for Boston's Carl Garrett. Last year's Rookie of the Year found all the gates closed, and his efforts finally erupted in frustration. In 1969, Garrett stole the scene from OJ Simpson, but this was 1970, and the spotlight belonged to OJ. Charging, leaping, churning, and darting, OJ Simpson came to life. Buffalo's hopes once rode solely on the flying feet of O.J. Simpson. But in 1970, the golden arm of Dennis Shaw became one more pillar for the future. The Buffalo Bills are youth. Number 25, Haven Moses, has played only 3 years, but already has become a consistent deep threat. The defenders also wear the face of youth. Age has eaten away at the defense, and young players, like number 52, Edgar Chandler, have filled the holes. Against Boston, Buffalo had all their guns blazing. Even an attempted onside kick resulted in a Buffalo touchdown by rookie Greg Jones, number 36. The Patriots witnessed unrestrained youth on a rampage, and the victory was due in large part to the defense. In the season's 8th game, Buffalo engaged in a slugfest with the Cincinnati Bengals. They lost the battle, they lost the war, and worst of all, they lost OJ Simpson for the season with a knee injury.
In preparation for John Unitas and the Baltimore Colts, the Buffalo Bills defense played monkey in the middle. Oddly enough, this strategy carried over to the game itself as the Bills had the once-beaten Colts going backwards. Led by rookie quarterback Dennis Shaw and the bullish thrusts of mammoth Wayne Patrick, Buffalo's offense dominated the Colt defense, one of the stingiest in all of football. Shaw, a prominent contender for Rookie of the Year, threw 2 touchdown passes. One going to flashy Haven Moses, the other to tiny Marlon Briscoe, the AFC's leading receiver. The 2 scores gave Buffalo a surprising 14-0 lead, and even the scoreboard blinked in disbelief. Although Colt receivers cleared their defenders easily, the field at times was just 1 yard too short. Finally, the old master managed to score. He used both his tight ends, Tom Mitchell, number 84, and John Mackey, number 88, to split the Bills' deep defense for a touchdown. Baltimore tied the game at 14-all when Eddie Hinton outflanked the Bills on a reverse. The Colts later added a Jim O'Brien field goal and led 17-14 late in the final quarter. With just minutes remaining, Shaw drove Buffalo to the Colts' 28-yard line. From there, Grant Guthrie kicked a 36-yard field goal to tie the game at 17-17 with just 1 minute to play. John Unitas' attempt to rally Baltimore was blunted by an interception by Pete Richardson, who ended up at the Bills' 49-yard line. With just 2 seconds left, Grant Guthrie lined up his sights on a haunted house and attempted a 58-yard field goal that would enshrine his foot in the Tom Dempsey Hall of Fame. However, Guthrie's try was woefully short, and Jim Duncan almost sneaked through a crease for a touchdown. Though more than 2 touchdown underdogs, the Bills came out of Baltimore with a tie and a moral victory.
A strange beginning, an even stranger game. Who would have thought the Buffalo Bills could crush the awesome Baltimore Colts? Who would have believed Buffalo could bury Baltimore's powerful runners? Who would have thought the Bills could race through the Baltimore defense as if the Colts were amateurs? And who would have imagined the Bills would jump to a 14-0 lead over the eventual world champions? In the first half, Buffalo completely outplayed the vaunted Colts, and even the scoreboard blinked in disbelief. Then John Unitas brought the Colts roaring back to take a slim 3-point lead. But the Buffalo Bills' Wild West show wasn't over yet. A Dennis Shaw completion set up a field goal by Grant Guthrie that tied the score at 17. Then number 47, Pete Richardson, picked off a deflected pass to give Buffalo a chance with only 2 seconds remaining. But as if a haunted house was guiding the Bills' destiny, Guthrie's field goal attempt fell short, and the game ended in a tie. A wise old man once said, a tie is like kissing your sister. But if your sister becomes a world champion, it just ain't all that bad. Buffalo battled the future world champions on even terms.
The latest deal had Bobby Douglas, number 10, back at quarterback. Anxious to succeed in his first start of 1970, he threw a touchdown pass on the Bears' first play of the game. Unfortunately, it went to the Bills' Butch Bird, number 42. Having seen Butkus in action, the Bills showed a remarkable ability to knock a few heads themselves. They got to Douglas a total of 7 times and managed to upset his timing on passes he did get off. But Douglas did.
Rookie of the Year candidate did finally get things going with his completion to the AFC's leading receiver, Marlon Briscoe. However, when Shaw got within scoring range, the young signal caller found that luck had run out on him. But the Bills did muster a 6-3 halftime lead on the toe of Grant Guthrie. And at the intermission, Coach Webster of the Giants told his team, quote, "If you play the same way in the second half, you've blown all you've worked for."
And a key figure had been the slinger from Surf City, Dennis Shaw of San Diego State. Shaw endured pro football's bone-rattling initiation and suffered a rookie's frustrations, but he emerged as a talented, durable field general and was named Rookie of the Year. Shaw has the size to absorb punishment and the speed to elude tacklers. But what Dennis Shaw does best is pass. Many of Shaw's long-distance rockets landed in the hands of another Californian, number 25, Haven Moses, also from San Diego State. Moses and Shaw are two of 9 Californians on the Bills roster, the supermen who hope to bring victory sunshine to Buffalo. For 2 years, Moses had been Buffalo's leading receiver. But in 1970, he received support from the tight end position. There was number 84, Austin Denny, and 85, Willie Grape. But in 1970, everyone took a back seat to the man they call the magician, Marlon Briscoe. He performs not in a top hat and tails, but in a helmet and cleats. He makes defenders vanish and impossible catches appear out of thin air. He's a now you see him, now you don't magician whose tricks are faster than the eye can see, and his football hocus pocus may be strong enough to make winning a lasting reality. Buffalo would sorely miss OJ, for he had been the big gun in the Bills' attack. The man with the magical legs and the mystifying moves. He can turn corners quicker than a New York cab driver and has more speed and power than the midnight flyer. He's the master of start and stop, the maestro of fake and go. In his rookie year, critics felt OJ's performance had not matched his potential. But in 1970, OJ was well on his way to a rushing title when injury struck. Now he was gone, and the problem was how to replace the irreplaceable. With OJ in street clothes, the Bills tried to take up the slack by using promising young runners like rookies Lloyd Pate, number 33, and Greg Jones, number 36. But injuries soon chopped down most of the running backs. A pleasant surprise was number 30, Wayne Patrick, who hits with the power of a battering ram. But he too was eventually cut down by an injury. Ron McDowell, 6'4", 288, a tough veteran. Jim Dunaway, 6'4", 277, big and mean. Julian Nunemaker, young and overpowering. Al Cowlings, a superb rookie. Linebackers, Paul Guidry, a young headhunter. Edgar Chandler, quick and intimidating. Mike McCaffrey, a valuable reserve. The secondary, cornerbacks, Robert James, lean and mean. Butch Bird, a cagey old veteran. Safeties, John Pitts, swift and strong. Pete Richardson, quick and tough. The defense was a blend of the old and the young. They were tough and aggressive, and their favorite pastime was sticking. Crush the runner was a favorite game, but bury the quarterback was even more fun. From seasoned veterans like Mike Stratton and Ron McDowell to rookies like Al Cowlings, the name of the game was hitting. The secondary, too, could hit, and venturing into their territory was a good way to lose your head. The safety positions were manned by a couple of young toughs. Number 47, Pete Richardson. And number 48, John Pitts. At the corners were number 42, Butch Bird, who has started every game for the last 7 years. And number 20, Robert James, the first player from Fisk University ever to play pro ball. Together, they were the slickest thieves this side of Sing Sing, and experience can only sharpen their youthful skills. In 1970, victory came only 3 times, and much of Buffalo's downfall was due to the agonizing crunch of injury. 5 starters were chopped down by injuries, and the Bills often looked more like a hospital emergency ward than a football team. But injuries are not the only cause of defeat. The Bills were young and inexperienced and often made mistakes. They often battled themselves as well as their opponents. The pressure of continuous losing mounted, and at times everything seemed to go wrong. For the Buffalo Bills, 1970 was often a year of frustration, a year of disappointment. But the win column is not the sole measure of a season. A season holds a different meaning for every person. For Coach John Roush, it was often a difficult, maddening year, but a year in which he saw improvement and promise. For OJ Simpson, 1970 was a year of injury, but also a time when he proved he had adjusted to the pro game. For Dennis Shaw, it was a season of indoctrination, a year in which he became a pro. It was a year in which the young faces of Al Collins and Robert James became the faces of veterans. And in 1971, there will be new faces. Jim Braxton from West Virginia, who will add power and depth to the backfield. Jan White, a big, tough tight end from Ohio State, who will add devastating blocking and sure-handed receiving. And there will be top draft choice number 20, J.D. Hill from Arizona State, a rookie who bears the mark of greatness. In 1971, the new faces will join the old. The Buffalo Bills are now a little older, a lot wiser. They'll meet the challenges of the new year with pride and determination. The climb to the top will be difficult, but the Buffalo Bills will improve. And the key to their improvement remains the face of youth.